Kelley, we talked about the 3 bets that you made months or weeks ago.
Yeah.
Odds have changed. Still like a couple, maybe not one. Certainly not on the Hatton. I guess like I do see him as low as like 30 out there. So like that, I think odds getting cut in half. Maybe you wouldn't be jumping up and down about that. But let's talk about the rest of your card real quick.
No, look, I think there's mid-30s on Hatton. He's the one I think I love more than the rest of the guys on the odds moves. I know it's a much bigger odds moves. I understand that. But as far as can't lay down to, like, if you're talking 14, Hovland, I still like 18 to 20-ish. If you can find him in that range, I still like that. Cantlay, I think, is the one I'd maybe shy away from. If 14 is the best you're seeing on him right now. Tyrrell Hatton, I saw 35, 37 earlier. I'd still bet, Matt, he is really, he's top, let me pull this up, top 5 in my last 24, last 36 round models. I mean, he's great ball striking right now. Ranks the low 30s better in every stat category that I modeled this week. So that includes scrambling around the green. He's kind of got that all-around game. And I'm really spiking right now. Recent results, T3, we saw him last week, T3, RBC Canadian Open, T12, the Memorial, T15, the PGA, T5, the Byron Nelson, T3, Wells Fargo, T19, RBC Heritage. This guy a top 20 machine right now.
I guess my pushback would be I like him more in placement market bets than I do in outright markets. And certainly at 30 to 1, I don't like him from an outright standpoint, but I definitely do like him from a placement market standpoint.
So, I added him. Obviously, he's there in top 20, you'll see. And then I bet him in a matchup over Cameron Young, he's a pretty strong fade for me this week. Also bet him in a matchup over Fitzpatrick. Not that I hate Fitzpatrick this week. I just kind of thought wrong person favored there for me. Xander Schauffele, I did bite on a 21 to 1 here in town. I know a lot of places he is in the teens. That's another one. It's a pretty close call on the odds, but over 20 to 1, I was willing to add him this week. Man, you would think it's coming at some point in the for this guy here soon in one of these majors, but top 4 in every single model that I ran. Last 36 rounds, 5th in approach, 10th in good drives, 5th in bogey avoidance. Recent results, T24 Memorial, T18 PGA, 2nd at the Wells Fargo, 4th at the RBC Heritage, T10 at the Masters, T19 at the Players. So top 20 outright on him. Top 20, I know we're a little short on time, so I did top 20 on Cantlay. I still like that bet. Obviously, I made all my top 20 bets today, actually. So these all I still stand by and like. Cantlay, Schauffele, Hovland, Hatton. Hovland's a guy we haven't talked about as much. Obviously, the last time he was out there, though, he won. Siwoo Kim, this guy I know you brought up earlier, Matt, but he spiked high. He was 10th in my last 12-round model. He was 5th in my last 16-round model. Siwoo Kim, you know me, I like him a lot. Great ball striker. If he can catch hot putting here this week, definitely a guy to look out for. He's gained putting once in his past 9 tournaments. The one time he did, Matt, he finished T2. So, like, that is one where I see if he can putt it all this week, he's looking good. Matchups real quick. Again, Hatton over Cameron Young. I played Rahm over Rory. I didn't think that separation was big enough. Minus 120, I was willing to lay it with Rahm. Eric Cole's a guy we've been betting often. Minus 115 over Lucas Herbert. Air Bear. Matsuyama, minus 110 over Cameron Young. I like Matsuyama this week. I might add a little bit more to him in another market or more matchups. Justin Rose, minus 110 over Jason Day. Hatton, plus 110 over Fitzpatrick. And that Siwoo Kim, top South Korean player.
Wes, let's get to your best. Let's try to squeeze everything in here if we can.
3 chalks, 3 mid-ranges, and 2 bombs on the outrights. Placements and other matchups. Props will be available later at the week at vsin.com. My last ad, actually, the shortest price, Rory McIlroy, 14 to 1. Look, he's faded the last 2 Sundays, but he's still got 3 straight top 10 finishes dating back to the PGA. This is a course that I think is going to reward the artist maybe a little bit more than the scientist. So Rory at 14. Cantlay, I have at a little better number. 17, I still think is fair. I actually think he's been getting criticized for slow play. I think the slow play is going to benefit Cantlay this week because this is the U.S. Open. Everybody plays slow at the U.S. Open. So he's got Joe LaCava now on the bag, had him for the last month, Tiger's old former caddy. It's about time for Patrick Cantlay to really contend in a major. I think this is the week. Victor Hovland, 19 to 1, broke his maiden at the Memorial a couple weeks ago. And I think he's been a big game hunter in these tournaments with top 10s in each of the last 3 majors. I think he's got that monkey off his back now. So Victor at 19 to 1. Max Homa, who does have the course record here, 61, 33 to 1. And he fits the narrative street where he's kind of obvious, but so was Matt Fitzpatrick last year, having won the U.S. Amateur and the U.S. Open on the same course. So I'm still going to take Homa at 33. And for those that say I don't have any live players, here's one for you. How about Bryson DeChambeau, 48-1, three-time winner on Gil Hanse redesigns. If you look at how he played at the PGA, was second in the field total driving, wasn't the typical bomb and gouge, though. He was also second in GIR and 15th on approach. Complete game starting to come back. He's got a couple top tens recently to surround that PGA finish on live. Just don't do any interviews with CNN and talk about any past events like he did last week, and he'll be okay. Ricky Fowler, 58-1. The form is really good. I think Ricky's going to win here in the next couple months. Maybe it's this week. He's a California guy like Homa is, and, of course, Cantlay. And then the two bombs. How about Mito Pereira, 120-1? He's been out of sight, out of mind because he's on live right now, but 6 or better in 4 of his last 7 starts, 4th over the last 36 rounds on strokes gained approach. And then a guy that's played this course pretty regularly, Sahith Theegala, 120-1. He is a California guy. 19 straight cuts he's made, including a 9th at the Masters where he was the low debutant. And he's kind of like Rory, where I talk about imagination and creativity in terms of play. He really fits that. And then you see the matchups there, Neiman over Burns, McIlroy over Koepka. Rory, by the way, is what convinced me to play him. He's been getting back in the matchup market pretty much across the board, even against the elite this week. I have him over Koepka, DeChambeau over Reed, and Wyndham Clark over Corey Connors, and more to come later this week at vsin.com.
Yeah, check on over there. Wes will always add to his best bets. For me, I do share a couple with you guys, and I'm actually on a couple of fades of guys that you like. Xander Schauffele, for me and Kelley share that. I didn't get as good a number as you did. I got 19-1 on him. This is a guy that it's eventually going to happen, right? And you look, he checks every single box. He's the guy that we talk about when you enter these tournaments that does everything really, really well, doesn't do anything exceptional, and maybe this might be the type of setup. This course, this tournament might be the type of setup that as long as you are plus in everything, even though you don't have to be plus in something, that might all add up to a win here. So really do like Schauffele. Really, it showed up top in every single version of anything that I ran at multiple sites. I run models on all 3 different sites. Like, it was inside the top 5 in just every single thing that I possibly did. Maybe my favorite bet of the week is Jordan Spieth at 27-1. Jordan Spieth, under the radar, has actually really done really good this year. I mean, look, he hasn't won anything, which is why maybe the accolades haven't started, at least the love for Jordan Spieth hasn't come. T6 Waste Management, T4 Arnold Palmer, T3 Valspar, T4 Masters, second outright at the RBC Heritage, T5 at the Memorial. The guy has some very, very high finishes here, and more than anything, he's hitting it straight. He is straight off the tee, and I have factored that in a lot this week. I made the Max Homa bet a while ago. It's the only one that I made heading in. If I had cash out option here in Vegas, I'd probably do it. I don't really love it anymore. I don't like Max's form, but it's in the account as it is already, so can't take it out of there. Colin Morikawa, 38-1. I took Moore at 40-1 this morning. Number 1 in this field in those super long approaches, like you mentioned, Wes, that we've been looking at the 200 plus. Number 2 in the 100 to 125, which is the other bucket we were kind of looking at. 10th in good drives the last 24, and actually 17th in that lag putting that we think is going to be also important this week. Colin Morikawa, by the way, 2 strokes off the lead at the Memorial, had to withdraw. If he'd have gone on to win that thing on Sunday, this number would be half of what it is right now, so I'll take it. A couple of bombs here. I don't think they'll actually win. These are more like placement market type guys that I like. But Wyndham Clark, Mito Pereira, and Eric Cole, all guys that I went ahead and did a sprinkle of an outright on, but I'm way more heavy on these guys in the placement markets than I am from anything else. I think the numbers on all 3 of these guys don't really match up with the skill and the form that they are in right now. So again, Wyndham Clark, a guy, if you kind of take a look here, the numbers are really, really good for him as of late. Mito Pereira, all the stuff that Wes said. And then Eric Cole, just a guy under the radar that continues to produce week after week after week. Top 20 on Justin Rose, top 30 on Russell Henley and Siwoo. Yeah. And a top 40. I had to just list it because that's where I'm really heavy here on Eric Cole. I think that at plus 140 number, I have Bryson to miss the cut. At plus 178. I think this is not going to work out well for Bryson this week with the way that he plays, and Eric Cole to make the cut at minus 150.
Go to vsin.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.